Hi, everyone. My name is Jen Waine. I'm an astrologer, and I would like to talk to you about the month of May 2022. I just did a talk about a week ago, and I'm realizing it's a lot easier when I have numerous bodies to talk to and interact with. And I've done a bunch of Facebook Lives over the years, and I kind of put that on pause. And then I thought, well, maybe I will try to resurrect a couple of dabbles into YouTube. So I got kind of perfectionistic about everything where I was like, oh, I want to set up in front of my altar and this, that, and the other thing. And I realized that if I keep being such a perfectionist, then I'm never going to get this video out to you. So let's just dive in. So last week when we did a talk, I was with Melissa Halsey of Wisdom Word. It was a great collaboration. Definitely check out that YouTube if you haven't seen it. We did an overview where I spoke about Pisces soup. So April was, especially the end of April, was very much about this beautiful energy of Venus and Neptune and Jupiter and togetherness and unconditional love and connection and compassion and this feeling of softness and gentleness. And that is dissipating quite quickly, as you see, as we step into May. So the first thing to bring to your awareness about this month of May is that we're in eclipse season. So right before we slid into May, actually it was April 30th, we had a new moon solar eclipse, and that was at 10 degrees Taurus. And so we began as soon as May entered, already in this very intense time period where there's a lot of acceleration, there's a lot of intensity, there are really big departures and really big arrivals and milestones, and there's this karmic acceleration that happens with eclipses. So often something or someone will get flushed away, something or someone will get brought in. And these are big souls, these are big situations, these are, significant moments in time. Eclipses really mark time for us and also speed things up. So we are in this period for the next month of what I call the snow globe effect. It's where everything's kind of shook up and a bit unwieldy and a bit unsettled, and our nervous systems are definitely feeling it. And eclipses are actually one of the reasons I created a program called Sanctuary. It's a daily morning practice that I lead. If you'd ever like to find out more about that, please let me know. So it's a really important time to ground, to get out into nature, to get your feet in the soil, to eat in such a way that supports you and grounds you. It's not a time to be eating popcorn and that kind of thing solely to survive on. So we have the next eclipse coming up. They tend to come in either pairs or triads, and this time it's a pair. So we have the next one coming up in 2 weeks. It's a full moon lunar eclipse coming up at 25 degrees Scorpio, and that will be on May 16th. So a lot of changes, a lot of really big activations. And the other thing about May is we are leaving this Pisces soup. I was talking about how at the end of April, many of us were feeling kind of altered, kind of intoxicated, swept away, maybe even carried away. It could have a very romantic and mystical vibe, which can be really lovely, but also the rose-colored glasses aspect of things can be really unhealthy too, especially around boundaries. And what's happening now is slowly Venus, then Jupiter, then Mars are all moving into Aries in the month of May. We've already seen Venus switch. She moved into Aries yesterday, May 2nd. I'm doing this on May 3rd, by the way. And next up will be Jupiter moving into Aries on May 10th, and that's huge. Then Mars moving into home territory of Aries, that's May 24th. So by the middle of May, this Pisces kind of go with the flow, whatever, it's all good kind of energy is going to be whooshing out the door. Maybe you feel it already. And this Aries energy of I have to take action. I have to put my foot down. I have to stand up for what I believe in. I have to say no. I have to break away from the pack. I need to be myself. I need to be autonomous. I need to be independent. Either you're with me or against me. That's very much the energy of May. Now, that's interesting because most of May, the first 3 weeks, we're still in Taurus season. Taurus season is ruled by Venus. It's usually about slow and steady and sweet, and our resources and what we value, what we appreciate, comfort, security, all of these things. While they're still in effect, it's going to feel more and more like Aries season, actually, though, with Venus, then Jupiter, then Mars moving into Aries. So it's going to feel like confrontation is going to be rising to the surface. Or if you've been feeling stuck and you've been feeling like, oh, I really want to launch something and I just can't seem to get it going. One date that I'm particularly interested in for more traction, is when Mars goes into Aries at the end of May on the 24th, because Mars is in Pisces right now. Mars is this kind of wishy-washy, yeah, maybe I'll take action, maybe after I take a nap, or you put something out there and it just doesn't get a lot of oomph behind it. So, and Mars in Pisces has its place and it has its beauty, as do all of these alignments. It's more of a spiritual warrior type of energy. So if you're in alignment with the divine, you get a lot of wind at your back. But if you're doing the human thing where you're just trying to put stuff out there, that's when Mars and Aries, you're going to find some more movement forward. Now, that said, the sky often has some contradictions, just like all of our natal charts. Part of being human is that we have these different energies that we're working with. So some propel us forward and some hold us in a slower groove where it's like, are you sure? Do you want to redo something? Do you want to adjust something? And that is going to be the energy of May as well, because we have Mercury retrograde. So that is coming on the 10th, the same day that Jupiter moves into Aries. Now, Jupiter in Aries, I could spend an hour just talking about Jupiter Aries alone, just super brief. And I talked a lot about Jupiter in Aries when I did the 2022 overview for the year. And actually, I'll put that up on YouTube also so that you can access that if you want. But just like the Cliff Notes version, Jupiter amplifies whatever it touches. Jupiter is about expansion. So when Jupiter leaves Pisces, which is this, divinity-oriented, connection-oriented, let's all be together, has had a lot to do with the rise in COVID cases. People are like, no, I don't need a mask. Boundaries coming down. Jupiter Pisces also very much about immune systems. That's going to change. We're going to start seeing people starting to put more masks on, starting to put more boundaries up, and COVID cases are going to start declining again. But this Jupiter Aries, to come back to that main idea, it's big Aries energy. So it's big, take action, big, do it, big, I'll confront you if I need to confront you. And it could be potentially very volatile as well. So it's really interesting with what's going on in the news in the past 24 hours. There's been a leak that the Supreme Court might overturn Roe versus Wade and abortion rights, women's bodily rights. So if you look at this in terms of the context of the sky, super interesting. First of all, we had Pluto retrograde at the end of April, right before the eclipse. Pluto deals with death and birth, so abortion. Where's Pluto located? Pluto's in Capricorn, government. And right now, the United States is going through what we call a Pluto return. So it's this idea that there's a huge amount of transformation that this country is going to go through, particularly through the lens of government, through our structures that are slowly starting to crumble and need to be regenerated. So super interesting timing. Also, look, Venus just moved into Aries yesterday, the day when the leak came out. Leak is also a very Pisces type of terminology, and we still have a lot of planetary bodies in Pisces. But Venus Aries, Venus bringing the woman, the female, the yin energy to the front, to the forefront. And Aries, a fight about women's rights. So with all this Aries activations happening this month, the Venus, the Jupiter, the Mars, all going into Aries, I see a lot more people that are going to be protesting, using their voices. We're still in Taurus season. Taurus, the body correlation for Taurus is the neck and the throat. So, it's putting your voice out there. Aries getting activated, activating the voice. And we just had an eclipse that was in Taurus. So activating the voice around Taurus, the body, Taurus ruled by Venus, women. And then the next eclipse is in Scorpio. So again, reproduction, that's the part of the body. It rules the reproductive organs. So I just see so much change that's coming our way. Also looking at Uranus. Uranus is the celestial body that rules revolution and rebellion and new ways of thinking, and is very deeply ingrained in this eclipse that we just had, and is also about to touch the sun tomorrow, Thursday the 5th. And it's also getting closer and closer to the collective North Node. So we are heading towards a period. What does Uranus do? It destabilizes things. It electrifies things. And ultimately, what Uranus wants to do is it wants to catapult us forward. It says, you need to change. You need to advance. You being a society, I'm talking about the United States here, but all of us too as individuals. And so it's very much about ultimately upgrades. But it's going through a period of time that can be destabilizing, take us from what we know, the status quo, into a whole new universe. So May is going to be an exciting time. It's going to be a time where, you're going to want to put your stuff out there. You're going to want to put your projects out there. It's going to be go time. And it's going to be a time where it's like no more sitting on our butts, just being like, oh yeah, all is well, and just kind of passive about things. It's going to be a time where I really believe we're going to see more people standing up, more people taking to the streets, more people putting their foot down. And we're going to have Jupiter in Aries all the way into the fall. And then Jupiter will slide back with the retrograde into Pisces for a little while, late fall to right around solstice, winter solstice. And then once again, Jupiter in Aries is going to be back. So that like, boom, that type of energy that's coming, and it's big. And I'll be excited to see what happens, and I'll be excited to hear how this affects you. If you ever want to understand how all of this is unfolding personally for you in your natal chart and in your life, I do one-on-one chart readings, so feel free to hit me up for that. Also, if you'd like to learn more astrology, I write a daily astrological forecast every evening, a short one, for the following day. And you can receive that in your email inbox through my Patreon community that starts at $5 a month. So I would love to share that with you. And if this video was interesting to you, if it felt supportive, if it was informative, please give it a like, please give it a subscribe, and please share it with your friends, because I would really like to connect with more people out there and engage more in these astrological conversations, because there's so much going on in the sky. And this is an amazing tool and an amazing roadmap to help us understand. It's a reflection of everything that's happening, as above, so below. It's an amazing light to help illuminate these dark passageways that we're moving through. It's almost like a birth canal. So I'm going to try to make more of these YouTube videos for you. If you feel like they're helpful, please let me know. You can also connect with me on social media, on Instagram and on Facebook. And please let me know how May unfolds for you. All right. Thank you so much. Take care.